Okay guys, so I'm going to show you what we're doing as far as loading our actual shoulder joint capsule. So you can see I'm in this side lying position. And we're doing this before our training at a low intensity for long duration. So I'm lying on my shoulder and you can see this would be directly out, but I've brought it in just slightly. From there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend my elbow at 90. Now, where a lot of people go wrong on this is they're letting this shoulder be way far back. What I'm doing is I'm maintaining spine extension, and I'm actually using my pec to pull me in here. So I'm using this tissue to kind of pull me on top so that this shoulder is stacked on that shoulder. And then all I'm doing is I'm going down and I'm finding a stretch. So right now I found a stretch, and I want you to notice how my shoulder blade is in touch with the ground. A lot of people may let this come up. I'm not letting it come up. I'm trapping it right here so that I have a good pull in my shoulder joint. So I feel a stretch in the back of my shoulder, and you can see I've secured my arm in this fashion. You can secure it this way. Personally, I prefer to close the gap here, and I have my forearm directly here, and then I grab kind of at this elbow. And then what we're gonna do is, it's called a Pales contraction, so progressive angular isometric loading. So the tissue that's stretching, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna maintain chest up and I'm gonna start to rotate. It's an isometric, so you're not gonna see any motion. I do want you to notice how right now I'm engaged with that tissue. So the tissue that I feel stretching, I'm currently loading and using. And I want you to see how I'm not using my fingers, right? I'm trying to rotate from here so that it looks like this, right? If you look at my elbow, you can see how there's a little bit of motion. And the entire time, I'm maintaining my chest up so that I can feel that tissue, right? So we're gonna do this at a low intensity for a long duration. So we like to load at around 10 to 30% of maximal voluntary isometric contraction. After that minute's up, we'll act like that minute's up. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rotate deeper into the stretch. So what I like to do is I like to take my hand and I grab it right here, and then I rotate down. And you can see a lot of people are gonna wanna cheat and use this. You can see I'm trying to rotate, and I can get a good contraction right here. And as I rotate down and squeeze that, I'm maintaining my chest up. And then it's gonna be the same thing. We're gonna match that volume at a 1-to-1 ratio. So if I pushed up for, let's say, 30 seconds, I'm gonna push down for 30 seconds. If I pushed up for a minute, if I did a Pales contraction for a minute, I would do a rails contraction for a minute. Then once we're in here, I like to do some lift-offs. So I'm just going to lift off and rotate back. So I contract the stuff on my shoulder, and then I get a lift off. I'm gonna hold, I'm gonna make sure that I'm not giving up my thoracic cavity. And just back and forth. So just controlled force coming from the shoulder, creating a little bit of a lift off. So you can see this top hand is blocking. So what we got is a Pales contraction, then a rails contraction. Those are both low intensity, long duration. So for us, right now we're at about 10 to 30% for 1 minute. Following that, then we're just gonna do, let's say, 8 to 12 lift-offs into that newly acquired range prior to training.